Hi, Mark. So nice to talk online with you today.
Hi, Francesca. I'm really looking forward to a great conversation.
Absolutely. I believe empowerment is an amazing topic, and it's so interesting to exchange energies also about these important topics because it's fun, but it's also very interesting. And the idea of talking about empowerment already makes me feel empowered, don't you, Mark?
I am already feeling empowered, Francesca.
Amazing. That's the best feeling. So let's debate, of course, in an authentic way. We didn't prepare much, but Mark, I'm very happy to talk with you today about empowerment. So how shall we start? Shall we ask questions to each other?
Of course, let's start with how empowerment is achieved and what it means to you and how it's built. You can go first.
Okay, so what is amazing about, I believe, empowerment, it is, first of all, it is a concept that is born in the 50s to protect humans' rights. Of course, it is a process of the, there has been a process of the concept. So before it was about protection, now it's more about feeling good, feeling the power of achievement, which is amazing, I find, and we all need to feel empowered. So I believe empowerment, it's made of 5 main points, and we can talk about it together, because as we just said, it's a life process and growth process. So it's not about a moment of our life, it is a journey. Along this journey, we have to follow, in my opinion, these 5 points, which is about time. And of course, tell me something if you want to express your ideas about this, Mark. Time, because how can we feel empowered if we don't give enough time to our growth? So,
Yes.
for example, many times because we are basically stuck in our situations or in our daily life, we don't have time to think about what we truly want to achieve, what we are truly able to give to this world. And so we miss this important point of taking time and thinking about our real potential, because that's when we feel empowered. What do you think about the time concept, Mark?
I think it's really, really important, Francesca, and great points as well, especially working on ourselves, because empowerment to me is definitely when you feel empowered yourself, but also when you're empowering others and supporting others to grow as well. I think that's really, really important. And for me, empowerment is really stepping into your own potential. I think it's really important, and that comes with a lot of self-improvement and personal development. So first, getting your rituals in place that you do on a daily basis, like meditation, visualization, gratitude, a little bit of exercise, and really working on your own personal growth and your own personal development. That doesn't happen overnight, Francesca. It's an ongoing journey that I'm still working on now. And then you can empower others when you are your best self. You can empower others to be their best self as well.
Absolutely. And without time, because people have rushing every day to achieve what they want, but time is the most important, also to be understood. So time, it's not equal for everyone. So sometimes, let's imagine I am a mother, I need to give time to my daughter to make her feel empowered, because the time we need, it's very personal. So to give the time to make them feel empowered with no codependency, because as soon as we give power to someone, then we create this codependency connection, because otherwise, without our presence, the person, in this case, my daughter, doesn't feel empowered, while this is a very big mistake. So let's avoid any codependency behavior. Let's empower people and let's feel empowered, giving us time, letting us basically be with time what we want to be. Also, the second point I'm sure you agree, Mark, it's trust. So trust in general in life is fundamental. How can I grow up feeling empowered or feeling positive if I've not been trusted along my growth?
It's a great point you made about codependency, actually, because you see that in a narcissist dynamic with codependence and with more empathetic individuals. And the way to overcome that dynamic is when you really know your own value, you know your own worth, because that's what toxic people take out of you. You depend on them and you forget about your inner self and how special you are. So I think that is a really vital point, what you did share about knowing yourself and your own inner worth and really working on your own growth instead of giving power to others.
Absolutely. And it is about trust. I mean, we're not asking anything else than trust, than being trusted, which is the most important thing, I believe, during our growth. That's why the other point, in my opinion, and as many books also say, it's support and trust. Support, because how can we feel empowered along our growth if we are surrounded by negative energies, for example? Also, of course, it depends on the support we receive, but to be guided is also important along the process of empowerment, because sometimes we have to find the right time to let go, and we cannot let go if we don't have this support. And support, again, doesn't mean codependency, means trust, people that believe in us, people that guide us instead of telling us what to do.
Yes, and that's why leadership is so important, and that we have leaders, mentors, teachers that are really coming from an authentic place and really leading by example, because far too often in the business world, sometimes, unfortunately, I hate to say it, some leaders, they do tell you what to do rather than leading by example. And that's why it's really important you choose your mentors, coaches really, really wisely, because we all need some kind of mentorship. But it's really important to be careful of toxic people, because it is in the business world, unfortunately. There are toxic people in the business environment.
Absolutely, Mark, I agree. And that's because they focus on power, which is very different from empowerment, because empowerment as a pure source. Power, most of the time, it's overpowering. So they control people, manipulating them because of their own desires and needs. So this is toxic, in fact. How can we avoid toxicity in these relationships? As soon as we feel that we are giving our power away because we don't have control of our own emotions, and we are in these oblivion situations where we basically get lost, that's when we can find a bit of toxicity. And I don't believe it's also those problems' fault to bring toxicity in the connection, because maybe they've been treated the same way. So we always have to be empathetic and compassionate, because otherwise we keep this anger within us, which is not useful anyway. Do you agree, Mark?
I agree a lot, yes. And Francesca, I'd also say it's important, if someone shows you who they are, you believe them. And if you do know your self-worth and you know your own value and you have got a good mindset, there will be red flags when people are being toxic around you. And if you have enough inner strength and belief in yourself, you will listen to those red flags. For instance, someone may be undermining you, saying things that disrespect you or devalue you. There are many red flags. So listen to your gut and you will hear, but it's really careful that you listen. And if you are a bit low in confidence and self-belief and you haven't got that value in yourself, it's so easy to get dragged in. So that's why it's so important to work on your own self-improvement and become empowered.
Absolutely. In fact, because it's a very important point, what talking about, Mark, since many businesses are going to develop, many people are building their team. So it's very important to find purity within connections. For example, business-wise, the importance of empowerment is due to the need to make companies more and more competitive, which can be read as toxic, where actually not. In this case, the competition is offering employees the full responsibility for expressing their potential, realizing themselves professionally, and at the same time generating value for the organization they are working for. So it's very important to read carefully the situation we are in, because we cannot victimize either. We can follow our gut, like you said, but we can also accept situations, making the best out of them.
That's a good point as well, Francesca, accepting situations. And I think if you are feeling empowered and you have got those values and you are high on confidence, and I'm not saying you always feel confident, we're all human beings at the end of the day. You will have good days and bad days. But I think when you do have those values in place, it's so much easier to have the strength to walk away from toxic situations, or more to the point I was making, you can deal with people in a better way so that you can deal with toxic people better and manage the situations better. That was the point I was trying to make. So let me ask you, Francesca, why is it important we evaluate the potential to promote empowerment?
I love your questions, Mark. And of course, I have a few questions for you too, but I'm loving this debate. I believe, let's not forget that the empowerment connotes already the process of self-awareness and one's potential, and also one's actions. So it is a kind of empowerment that it's about growth and personal potential. So as we get to know our potential, we can make the best of our own self with the awareness we have been giving ourselves along the experience, making the best of our power. We don't have all the same powers, so comparing ourselves to other people is very wrong. We have to study our inner potential, which comes also from this process of empowerment. So the more you believe in yourself, the more you are trusted by others, the more you trust in yourself, the more you evaluate your potential, and the more you discover it. Because as we know, we are made of energy. So if we surround ourselves by good energetical people, then we also feed ourselves of this energy, which I find magical. And that's when we also increase our potential. So being supported, being with people that value us, and doing something that value our potential. It's very important for me. And so basically, along our work and growth, we can discover our many potentials, eliminating what's useless, because what's useless just waste our time. So we can work, I always talk about love, but for me, how did I discover my potential? I've always worked with love, and that's when I became so empowered, because I don't work only using my mind, but also my heart. So the alignment between mind and heart give us also our potential.
I think that's a great point. When you have a heart and mind connection, it's really important you do come from the heart. I'm really big on that. And I think people should be more heart-centered, especially in the business world. And also you mentioned comparing yourself to others. In the world we're in at the moment with social media, everyone's got the perfect life. It's very easy to compare yourself to others, but I always say, never look and compare yourself to others in envy or jealousy. Only ever look to others to see how much is available to you. So you look at others for inspiration, you look at others' achievements and feel happy and think, well, if they can do it, I can do it. So never look in competition, always look from a place of inspiration to see how you can better yourself from using others as inspiration rather than coming from jealousy or envy?
Absolutely, Mark. Absolutely. Of course, it's easier to say than act on it, but I believe if we truly can get inspired by what we like, instead of thinking, I cannot have this, I feel sad, I feel jealous. No, as you said, inspiration is so important also because if you see something you like in someone else, that's because it's already within you and you have to discover how to use it. Otherwise, we wouldn't even notice it. So as soon as we want something, it's because we have it within us. And so it's important to make this change of mindset, which is very important.
Actually, that brings me nicely on to my next question. Let's talk a little bit about the process and state of mind, what it is to be empowered.
Yes, and I'm curious about what you think about it too, Mark, actually. I believe, first of all, yes, we said that empowerment, it's a process of life, it's about growth. So I would say it's about a lifestyle. If I think about empowerment, it's about my mindset, my attitude toward life. So for example, I wake up in the morning, instead of using the words, oh my God, I feel so tired today, what I'm gonna do today, I say, I feel great. This is already a state of mind which makes you feel empowered. So if we do this as an activity, as a daily activity, we will see immediately the differences of our attitudes and our reactions to situations. So I believe it's a state of mind. We can all be empowered if we believe we are powerful within and we believe in our potential.
I agree. And it is a practice as well, because I know for myself, Francesca, there are certain things I have to do on a daily basis to keep myself empowered. So for me, meditation, even 5 to 10 minutes, really helps to improve the way I think, the way I act. Also doing gratitude. I feel as soon as I go through my mind of every single thing I'm grateful for that day, that just really makes my mood better, and I find more and more things to be grateful of. A little bit of exercise is really, really important as well. Watching what you eat and drink. These are things that I do have to work on daily, and sometimes I'm human. There may be a couple of days I fall out of it, and I do notice that my mindset will suffer a little bit. So it is an ongoing journey that you do have to get used to putting in little daily rituals and practices so that we feel empowered. Do you agree?
Totally agree, Mark. And you said you always mention gratitude, which I find very special of you, because people don't really think about it. They think about happiness, they think about solitude, sufferance, love, many things, but gratitude. Let's 1 second refresh the importance of gratitude. Yes. I've been studying many books that talk about gratitude. And of course, it's difficult when we suffer, when we lose people we love. But at the end, it is the gratitude feeling when we feel grateful that our creativity explodes, because we are not reaching something unreachable. We are grateful for what we have. And that's when we open our mind for things to come. Because as soon as you feel grateful, you think of many other things that might come in your head, because you become creative, because you are free from this bad state of mind as you feel grateful. This feeling opens a big door in our heart and mind.
Yes. Why do you want to feel empowered, and what experience pushed you to become empowered?
I believe, Mark, I suppose it's the same for you. It's working with others and for others, because generally we create people create for themselves, but creating for the common good, it's incredibly powerful. And I think it's the feeling that the most makes me feel empowered to do things that are good for the community, which automatically are good for me, because I would never spread any message that I don't believe it's right. So anytime I work for the community, I believe I think of my children for the future. I think of my friends that I love madly. I think of all the people I love. So again, if we work with our heart for the external world, and also for us, it's a great idea of feeling empowered. That's why this individualistic world, it's scaring me so much, because we are becoming too dependent, which is very sad. We miss so much this way. We can make so much money indeed, but then what about the rest? What about the connections? I'm a big fan of the meaning of connection. I believe it's everything in this life, Mark. So I want to tell you this experience I had in the past. I created my own company. I was promoting talents around the world, and that created the best feeling in my heart. Many people I didn't even know recognized me around the cities I never been to, just because of this magical event, which was basically including many artists of many different parts of the world that were emerging still. They were not already famous. And then I was bringing this amazing network, which was international. So the amazing connections people made during these events are more than magical. People are getting married, people are discovering amazing friendships, people discover their own talent. People that wanted to be an artist, for example, they were scared of exhibit. As soon as they saw all these artists exposing with no fear, then they gave them strength. So as soon as we work for others, we recognize the feeling of empowerment automatically. I'm sure everyone working for the community, I'm sure is feeling the same.
Great stuff. And I would just like to add as well, Francesca, which I think it's really important. Sometimes we can find empowerment when we have been through real tragedy and real tragic times. For instance, I was in a relationship. It was very toxic, very narcissistic. And when the relationship ended, I was at rock bottom. I had lost all my self-worth. I just was broken. I had lost all my self-worth. But that pushed me to have that thought in my mind: I am never going to let someone take away my self-worth again. And it pushed me into personal development and self-improvement. I really started working on myself, my own goals, finding what I wanted to do in life. And it was a slow road to recovery. But if it wasn't for that horrible time of ending a relationship, having no self-worth, it was that pushed me to really go into my own empowerment and really build up my self-worth, build up my self-confidence. So sometimes in the worst of situations, it can be a push in the right direction to then become empowered. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, thank you for sharing this experience, Mark. I love to sharing experiences which can be read as sufferance, because we can inspire people this way too. And I believe you are so right. And after failure, there is a rebirth. I see even death as a rebirth in nature, in the humankind. So every time we have this feeling of failure and we are able to get up and to stand for our values and for our belief, that's an amazing step toward growth. I totally agree with you. Of course, I've been having so many failures in my life, and that's why I'm also so strong character-wise, Mark. I suppose you're the same. That's why we don't have fears of expressing our words online in front of many people watching us. I believe this is because we have been through struggles in life.
And I always say there's no such thing as the end. Every end is a new beginning. So what is the inner experience and awareness that the empowerment in life activates within us?
First of all, yes, amazing question, Mark. I love it. So empowerment, as we said, it's built within the life experience. So I believe, I want to say everything that is in my head. So I believe that what is really the most important experience that this process gives us is about, I believe, self-coaching our life, because as soon as we understand this empowerment we can achieve and we go through it, we understand also the powerful process of self-coaching our lives. So controlling our life, losing control sometimes, so planning our life. It's about self-coaching toward empowerment. So I believe self-coaching for others, maybe it's about being controlled by others, and we said that this is a wrong attitude. We control our own life toward empowerment. So self-coaching, I would say, is the experience that the most would leave me the empowerment.
I agree. Self-leadership.
Yeah.
We are all leaders. We all get ourselves out of bed in the morning. We brush our teeth. We lead our own lives every single day.
Yeah.
And it's about the choices that we make, the actions that we take, our belief systems. It's really important we have positive, empowering belief systems. With repetition, we can achieve anything we want to achieve, but it starts with those daily habits, those daily rituals. Little steps every single day will get you to your end destination, Francesca.
In fact, again, I love self-coaching my own life, as I always follow my programs. I write down my programs for the weeks ahead, and then I try to follow them. So to give structure, it's not about controlling our life in a very mechanical way. No, it helps us to follow all our desires at the same time. So self-coaching our lives is about empowering who we are, our mindset, our growth process, both of the individual and of the group, because as soon as we also go through this, we also affect the people around us in an amazing way. So it's about increasing self-esteem, self-efficacy, and also we are able to work so much better if we follow our own structure, maybe following our limits at the same time, indeed.
And it should be fun as well. It's about finding what works for you. Some people like journaling. I did that for a while. I just found journaling wasn't my thing, but I found I love doing my gratitudes, meditation. I love self-hypnosis. It's about finding things that work for you, and then it becomes an enjoyment rather than a task. And I think that's really important as well, Francesca.
I agree with you, Mark. And maybe some people can say, you talked about empowerment, but how can I start this process of feeling empowered? Already think about the meaning of empowerment and reconnect, reaffirm who you are with commitment of your path in life. Understanding who we are is very difficult. Only if we experience life truly, we can feel empowered and we can discover our own potential. So living, which doesn't mean being at the computer every day, which means connection, connect, escape if you need to reconnect to whom you are, where love is. Love is the universal language. So find the love within, find your passions, and find your beautiful energy to spread to what you do.
And I think as well, knowing your values, whether that's your personal values, your business values, also putting things on paper, writing out your future of what you would like to achieve. Never be scared to follow your dreams, your passions, your goals, your desires, because I believe to live a life where you're totally happy, you should be following your own goals, your own desires. And so often people are scared to follow what they really want to do, their real passions. But if you get it on paper, if you get it on paper, make it work on paper, you can start taking small steps every day towards that end destination.
Yes, Mark. And how can we achieve this? Surrounded by people that support us. Again, support, trust, time, accepting failure and celebrate. Celebration of the actual moment, it's so important.
I agree totally.
It's so important to celebrate, even if it's just a small step toward. The celebration gives you the excitement and the energy to proceed and to go on. Yeah.
Celebrate even the little wins of the day, because those little wins are what make the big success in the end. So celebrate every single blessing of the day.
Yes, being grateful, like Mark already told us. All these values we've been talking about are nothing else than who we are. So if people could understand the beauty of the values that you create along the growth you go through, and all these values are full of history at the end. How can we create a value for our own life if there is not something meaningful behind? So it's so beautiful to write down what we've been learning along the last days, what we want to change, what we want to do to feel empowered, to feel our potential. That's the work we should do. Build our own soul and our own potential more than anything else.
And also, when you're of service to others, that always makes everyone glow inside. When you're serving others, inspiring others, you cannot fail if you are helping, inspiring others as well. So become a person of service. It's really important.
So important, Mark, and that's why I love what we are doing. Of course, it's work, but I believe it's also our passion to empower people, because we know ourselves the importance of feeling trusted and empowered and motivated. So we give motivation to people to express their own projects, as you also do. I love what you're doing, Mark, to help people expressing and presenting their businesses. It's so cool. It's a way of empowering them in a little way, indeed, but also to give them space and visibility and motivation.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very empowered after this conversation, Francesca. I'm sure all the listeners will be feeling empowered too.
Me too. It was so nice to talk to you, Mark. Maybe we can choose another topic and talk another time. I would love, as I believe this new year has to be made of good purposes.
I agree totally, and that would be a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me for a conversation, Francesca.
Thank you for being with me today, and let's celebrate this new year together here today, and let's give the last message to people about what we want to basically achieve. Okay, let's say what we want to achieve, so maybe we can inspire people. What do you want to achieve for the 2022, Marco?
I want to keep building my business, keep scaling up. I would like to have my own television show on a mainstream television. Yeah. I'm actually working with a screenwriter at the moment on a movie of my life story. We're doing a screenplay. That's all being written at the moment. We're in the beginning stages of the treatment stage of the screenplay. So over the next 12 months, a year and a half, I would really like to get the movie onto the big screen, Francesca. But I'm already taking action, and I'm already taking the steps to get it to that stage.
Amazing. And if you're about to start this project next year, I would love to interview, and we're going to tell people, remind people what you're doing. It's an amazing idea, Mark.
Yes. So I'm really excited about that. But I would just like to finish on, no matter what you're going through now in the present moment, no matter what's happened in the past, you can create any future reality you would like to create. It starts with positive, empowering belief systems, making better choices, repetition, action. With all of those steps, you can create any future reality you would like to create.
Absolutely. And instead of feeling guilty for what it has been, let's feel empowered to change our attitude towards situations or problems. Feeling guilty just make us feel stuck at the end, doesn't help in any way. So not feeling of guilt whatsoever, feeling of empowerment and positivity for New Year's.
Lots of positivity. I've really enjoyed being here today, Francesca.
Me too, Mark. Can't wait to talk to you again. And I wish you an amazing New Year's, Mark.
You too. Thank you so much.